So she's
I mean,
a
they
serial
sound reasonable.
fraudster. She's that's called fraud. When you pretend you want to do the one thing and you'll do the thing they're hiring you for, but all along you have secret plans to do something very, very different that's above your pay grade. And in Hollywood, my own position is she's absolutely ruined her brand. She has started a fight she cannot win. She does appear like an Amber Heard to me. She called herself Khaleesi and said Ryan Reynolds and we believe Taylor Swift were her dragons, and she's got the best dragon.
Blake Lively's perfect Hollywood image shattered. Megyn Kelly just dropped a truth bomb that's left Blake spinning.
Now she and Taylor are reportedly on the outs because Taylor Swift is like, bitch, I'm nobody's dragon.
Remember when Blake was America's sweetheart, all smiles and girl next door charm? Well, buckle up, buttercup, because that facade is crumbling faster than you can say xoxo, gossip girl. Kelly's exposé is serving up some piping hot tea. And trust me, it's way too scalding for Blake to swallow.
Blake Lively may have a history of not being upfront when she gets cast in a movie of her secret desires to actually play a much bigger role than that of lead actress.
But before we move on, I would like a small favor. Over 98% of you watch us without subscribing. It costs you nothing, but means a lot to us. So did you subscribe? Thanks.
So she's
I mean,
a
they
serial
sound reasonable.
fraudster.
Remember when Blake Lively was the golden girl of teen TV? Back in 2009, Gossip Girl was the hottest show on the planet, and Blake was riding high as Serena van der Woodsen. But hold on to your headbands, Upper East Siders, because this fairy tale just took a dark turn.
That's called fraud. When you pretend you want to do the one thing and you'll do the thing they're hiring you for, but all along you have secret plans to do something very, very different that's above your pay grade.
An old interview has resurfaced, and it's not pretty. Blake, our supposed sweetheart, casually admitted to poisoning her castmates. Yeah, you heard that right. Poisoning. Not with actual poison, thank God, but with something almost as toxic in Hollywood: social manipulation. According to Blake's own words, she wasn't content with just being the star of the show. No, she had to be the queen bee off-screen too. She described how she'd whisper little lies into her co-stars' ears, playing them against each other like pawns in her own personal chess game. All while flashing that $1 million smile, of course. But here's the kicker. Where are all of Blake's defenders now? The Gossip Girl cast has gone suspiciously silent. No XOXO texts of support, no Twitter shoutouts, nothing. It's like they've all taken a vow of silence, or maybe they're just not surprised. And what about Penn Badgley, Blake's on-screen love interest and the apparent main target of her behind-the-scenes scheming? He's been quieter than Dan Humphrey at an Upper East Side party. Is he biting his tongue to keep the peace, or is there more to this story that he's not telling? Industry insiders are spilling more tea than Blair Waldorf at a takedown brunch. One source, who worked closely with the cast during Gossip Girl's heyday, dropped this bomb. Blake wasn't just playing Serena. She was Serena, minus the heart of gold. She'd show up on set with little gifts for certain cast members, then watch as the others got jealous. It was like a real-life episode of the show, and she was pulling all the strings. Another crew member chimed in. There were days when you could cut the tension with a knife. Blake would be all smiles for the camera. Then, the second it stopped rolling, she'd be whispering in someone's ear.
Sticker where I'm supposed to go and say what I'm supposed to say, but I also knew that that wasn't fulfilling for me, that I wanted to be a part of the storytelling, that I wanted to be a part of the narrative. When I went in the meetings, I would just seem like I'm just there to be the actor and ready to get the gig. I wouldn't reveal that I actually need.
Next thing you know, two cast members who were best friends yesterday aren't even looking at each other.
Revive yourself until you're like.
As more of these stories come to light, Blake's carefully crafted image is starting to crack faster than Serena's resolve to stay out of trouble. Co-stars who used to sing her praises are suddenly developing amnesia when asked about their time on set with her. It's like watching a house of cards collapse in slow motion, and Blake's the queen at the top of the pile. But here's the real tea. Blake's poison plot seems to be backfiring spectacularly. All those social circles she thought she ruled, they're closing ranks, and she's on the outside looking in. Hollywood's a small town, and word travels fast. Suddenly, those A-list parties aren't sending out invites, and those coveted roles are going to other talents. It's like watching a real-life Gossip Girl blast unfold. Only this time, the secret's out and there's no denying it. Blake Lively, the girl everyone wanted to be friends with, is finding herself with a shrinking social circle faster than you can say, "You know you love me." Just when you thought Blake Lively couldn't possibly outdo her Gossip Girl era antics, she goes and pulls a stunt that has all of Hollywood clutching their pearls. Picture this, a passion project years in the making, a rising director full of hope, and Blake swooping in like a blonde tornado, leaving nothing but chaos in her wake. It Ends With Us was supposed to be Justin Baldoni's big break. Instead, it became Blake's biggest scandal yet. Remember Justin Baldoni, that dreamy Jane the Virgin star turned director? Well, he's now the lead in his own real-life drama, and Blake's playing the role of career-crushing diva. Baldoni had spent years securing the rights to Colleen Hoover's bestseller, It Ends With Us. It was his baby, his chance to prove himself as a serious filmmaker. But then Blake Lively entered the chat, and suddenly, Baldoni's dream project turned into a Hollywood nightmare. At first, it seemed like a match made in heaven. Blake was cast as the lead, bringing her star power to Baldoni's passion project. But faster than you can say XOXO Gossip Girl, Blake decided she wasn't content with just being in front of the camera. No, our girl wanted it all, including Baldoni's director's chair. What followed was a masterclass in Hollywood, backstabbing that would make even Chuck Bass blush. Blake started small, rewriting a scene here, overriding a decision there. Before long, she was practically running the show, and poor Justin was left wondering if he'd accidentally wandered onto the set of Invasion of the Body Snatchers instead of his own movie. But the real kicker? The premiere. You'd think the director of a highly anticipated film would be front and center on the red carpet, right? Wrong. In a move that had even the most jaded Hollywood insiders picking their jaws up off the floor, Blake allegedly had Baldoni banned from his own movie premiere. That's right, folks. The man who brought this project to life was relegated to the basement, while Blake basked in the spotlight upstairs. As the whispers grew louder, the question on everyone's lips was, is Blake Lively a collaborative artist, or is she Hollywood's newest control freak? The answer came faster than you can say cease and desist when leaked messages exposed Blake's not-so-secret weapon, her Dragon Squad. Turns out, our girl's got some pretty powerful friends on speed dial. Ryan Reynolds and Taylor Swift were apparently Blake's go-to cavalry whenever she needed to do some damage control. But here's the real tea. When the It Ends With Us drama hit the fan, Taylor Swift pulled a disappearing act faster than you can say shake it off. Suddenly, Blake found herself scrambling for allies in her hour of need, with her bestie nowhere to be found. So there you have it, folks. Blake Lively's dream role has turned into a PR nightmare, and the truth behind It Ends With Us is unraveling faster than a cheap sweater. With her Hollywood takeover exposed, Blake's facing her toughest audience yet, the court of public opinion. And let me tell you, they're not exactly giving her a standing ovation. Just when Blake thought her PR nightmare couldn't get any worse, Megyn Kelly swooped in like a wrecking ball, ready to demolish what was left of Blake's carefully constructed image. And let me tell you folks, Kelly's not playing around, she's got the receipts, and they're about to make Blake's It Ends With Us drama look like a kindergarten squabble. Remember Megyn Kelly, the journalist who took down media mogul Roger Ailes? Well, she's back, and she's set her laser focus on Blake's House of Lies. Kelly's latest exposé is like a truth bomb with a nuclear payload, and Ground Zero is a 2016 press junket that Blake probably wishes she could erase from existence. Picture this, Blake riding high on her Gossip Girl fame, thinking she's untouchable. Enter a Swedish journalist, just trying to do her job. What happened next? Let's just say it wasn't pretty. Kelly unearthed footage that shows Blake going full mean girl on this poor reporter, and it's not the kind of performance you want on your highlight reel. We're talking eye-rolling, sneering, and the kind of condescension that would make even Regina George say, "Whoa, dial it back a notch." Blake didn't just cross the line, she pole vaulted over it and then set the pole on fire. The Swedish journalist, who was just trying to ask some standard questions, looked like she wanted the floor to open up and swallow her whole.
Hi, Bob.
You've got two nice ones.
And they are kind of bumps, aren't they?
But here's the kicker. This wasn't a one-time oops, I woke up on the wrong side of the bed moment. No. Kelly's done her homework, and she's connecting the dots faster than you can say typecast as a bully. Turns out, Blake's got a whole portfolio of bad behavior that would make for one hell of a scrapbook. As Kelly's report hit the airwaves, Hollywood's Whisper Network suddenly found its voice. And boy, were they singing like canaries. Former co-stars, crew members, even the guy who once delivered Blake's kale smoothies. They're all coming out of the woodwork with stories that'll curl your hair. One makeup artist spilled the tea about how Blake would accidentally spill coffee on costumes she didn't like, forcing last-minute changes that just happened to benefit her screen time. A cameraman recalled how she'd demand reshoots if a single strand of her golden locks was out of place, holding up production for hours. Blake's PR team is in full panic mode, folks. They're throwing every trick in the book at this dumpster fire, but it's like trying to put out a forest fire with a water pistol. Their usual playbook of, "she was just having a bad day," or "it's all a misunderstanding," is about as effective as a screen door on a submarine. And oh, the irony. Remember all those times Blake complained about on-set treatment? How she was all about empowering women and creating a positive work environment. Yeah, that's aged about as well as milk left out in the sun. Her hypocrisy is so thick you could spread it on toast. As the full force of Kelly's exposé hits, Blake's finding out just how fast your friends can disappear in Tinseltown when you become box office poison. Those A-list pals who used to fight for the honor of being seen with her at premieres? They're suddenly developing mysterious scheduling conflicts. Directors who once dreamed of casting her are now treating her name like it's radioactive. In the span of a single news cycle, Blake's gone from Hollywood's golden girl to the industry's persona non grata. It's like watching a star implode in real time, and the gravitational pull is dragging down everyone in her orbit.
I woke up at 4:30 this morning. My heart was racing. I'm noticing that, I'm having some anxiety.
Well, folks, it looks like Blake Lively's Hollywood fairy tale just turned into a nightmare of epic proportions. The Golden Girl's mask has cracked, and boy, is it ugly underneath. Hollywood's elite are running for the hills, wondering who's next on the chopping block. It's like a game of celebrity Jenga, and Blake's tower just came crashing down. But here's the kicker. This isn't just about one starlet's fall from grace. Oh no, it's a whole industry shaking in its Louboutins. Blake's become the poster child for what happens when your true colors bleed through that perfect Instagram filter. And let me tell you, those colors are about as pretty as a used tissue. So what's next in this Tinseltown soap opera? Will Blake pull a phoenix and rise from the ashes? Or is she destined for the D-list? One thing's for sure. In the age of Twitter takedowns and Instagram exposés, celebs better watch their step. Because honey, those skeletons in your closet, they're just one viral post away from doing a full-on dance routine for the world to see.